Here are 5 mangas where the main character goes from weak to strong that you should be reading right now. And if this video can get 500 likes, I will do another list with more lesser known manga. That's your cue to like the video. So if you want to read a manga very similar to Harry Potter, but instead of this,
Leviosa, stop.
It looks like this.
Leviosa.
Then get on your knees, open your mouth, and start thanking me because I have the manga for you. Wistoria's Wand and Sword. Now I know what you're thinking, Rabbit, I don't want to read another isekai. Well, shut up, stupid, because this one is not an isekai. They said we don't need any of that because we have an actual good story. So the story revolves around our guy, Big Willie, and he lives in a world dominated by magic. And in order to keep a pinky promise that he made to his childhood friend, and as we all know, pinky promises, like if you break that, you're going straight to hell. So in order to keep that promise, he has to reach the echelon. He has to reach the supreme peak of the magical world. But here's the thing with the Fresh Prince. He can't use magic. He can't even use the most basic of spells. Unlike his childhood friend who was like gifted in the art of magic, our boy Will just sucks complete ass at magic. So the only other way to reach the top is to live and die by the blade. He has to go full-born weeb mode every single day of his life. He's in the dungeons, risking his life, trying to get stronger and stronger and trying to prove to everybody that he has what it takes. And yes, I know what you're thinking. He does have to go to magical school even though he can't use magic. And yes, he does get bullied by not only the other classmates, but also the teachers. So I can only imagine if he's getting bullied, like even by the teachers, what the Google reviews are gonna look like. But this is a really good action-adventure manga. It's not an isekai. The main character isn't a complete spineless wimp. The art style is really good. The pacing isn't too fast or too slow. Go check it out right now. Now, you know this wouldn't be a list unless I included at least one manga with some giant mommy moo-moo milkers. And that is what a dating sim of life or death is gonna be. It's kind of a loose stretch on the main character going from weak to strong, but hear me out, you'll understand why. So our main character wakes up one day with a holographic screen floating in front of him with the prompts that he can save, he can load, he can visit the item shop, and he can see all of his different stats. And he's like stoked. He's like, hell yeah, I'm in an erotic love game. He can look at women and see the seducing level against them, see how hard they are, and see all their information. And he is very, very hyped. And he thinks he knows exactly what he has to do to quote unquote capture his targets. He thinks he needs to forcefully Minecraft bed next to bed them. And he very quickly learns after a quick life or death situation that is not what that means. Instead of capturing these women and doing the sexy times with them, he has to capture them and unveil their deep dark secrets. And he can do this with a plethora of items and abilities, like here's a couple just to name a few. A tranquilizing spray, that's self-explanatory. A multifunction key, that can open any type of lock. Whatever could you possibly use that for? But our main character starts off really ignorant and just stupid of his whole situation, but through the length of the manga very quickly understands that he is not in a romance game at all. He is in a if I mess up, I'm gonna die game. And he goes from being this ignorant guy that literally almost forcefully bedded this woman who turned out to be a murderer, so I guess like it kind of evens out in a way maybe, to getting a good grasp of his situation and able to understand and use all of his different powers and abilities. And throughout the course of the story, he definitely does get better at being like Batman. I'm not saying he becomes Batman like the Dark Knight, but he gets better at being a detective and being able to unveil these women's secrets. So he goes from some idiot who gets arrested for almost forcefully bedding somebody to getting like this cute assassin girlfriend who has like this weird fetish for milk. Kind of weird. So if you want a mystery psychological thriller with tons of booba, check out A Dating Sim of Life or Death. Twin Star Exorcist is a very dangerous manga, mainly because there's so many chapters, you're more than likely gonna binge read it and waste like an entire 2 days. And also, you're gonna develop this strange new fetish for demon girls.
Nice.
So if you have plenty of time and more room for more degenerate fetishes, this is going to be the manga for you. It's all about our main character, Rokuro, and the other kind of main character, Benio. Benio. I am so terrible with these names. So this story takes place on Earth. It is not an isekai. I know. Be angry at me all you want, but it's not an isekai. It takes place on Earth, but in this world, there are demons. and gates will periodically open and demons will come out and kill a bunch of people, and it is the job of these exorcists to vanquish said demons. And our main character comes from a family of these exorcists, but because of a very terrible past that would give Naruto a run for his money, he decides that he does not want to be an exorcist. He wants to be literally anything. He will be a garbage truck man if that's what it takes to not be an exorcist. And that is until he meets our other main character, not even gonna try to pronounce her name, where they develop a quick rivalry until they both learn that they are the fated twin star exorcist who will ultimately get married and have a child who is prophesized to eliminate all the demons from the world. At first, they are totally against the idea, but the more and more they fight demons together and they live together and they're just around each other, they slowly start to develop feelings for one another. And also during this time, they're getting stronger and stronger. At the start, our main character is kind of powerful, but he's only powerful for like his weight class, if that makes any sense. There are definitely way stronger demons and humans out there in the world. But as the manga progresses, these twin star exorcists both get stronger and stronger and stronger, and both use each other to help lift each other up. And the thing that I like about it is they don't just get stronger for no reason. They definitely put in the time and effort to get stronger. They're not just like, you know what? Poof, you're magically strong. They actually train and work their asses off, and they actually develop a relationship, which is mind blown, unheard of in a lot of manga and anime. There is never a relationship. The main character always pussies out, but in this story, they actually do develop a relationship, which is awesome. So if you'd like to read a story with hot demon girls, a main character that actually trains to get stronger and actually develops a relationship, and you also have plenty of time to read Twin Star Exorcist, jot it down right now. Have you ever wanted to read an isekai about an introverted, socially inept spider that is literally fighting for their life every single day? Then So I'm a Spider So What is going to be the one for you. Now don't let the anime fool you. That terrible CGI does not translate into the manga. The manga looks beautiful, but if you want like textbook weak to strong that's actually good, there are almost no better examples than this one. It all starts because a god was kind of like dicking around and ended up getting this entire class killed and isekai'd into this new world. Now, when everybody gets isekai'd into this new world, the fun part is, it's not like, oh, welcome to the king's chamber. Welcome, you guys are all gonna go do my bidding because fuck you. There's none of that. Everybody gets isekai'd completely random. But our main spider, Kumiko, got isekai'd into a spider, one of the weakest ones, in the deadliest dungeon in this new world, and she is literally struggling to survive every single day.
I'm fighting for my life.
She has to go from next to nothing to being one of the most feared creatures in the dungeon. And it's not like it happens easily. She loses arms, legs, eyes. She is dancing with death every single day of her life. The amount of times she's almost died, there's too many to count. And once you think she's beaten the bad guy, another one even stronger appears and she's like, well, shit. Now that is all fantastic, but the best part about this manga is it's absolutely hilarious. The comedy is insane. It's up there in my opinion with like Konosuba levels. This little itty bitty spider with multiple personalities and like the social skills of wet bread literally lifted the anime despite all of its flaws on her back. So what do you think the manga is gonna do when it doesn't have to deal with terrible CGI? I would definitely say this is probably in my top 10, if not top 5 best mangas of all time, in my personal opinion, just based on the things that I like. So if you want something funny with lots of action and an isekai and weak to strong, this is the one for you. Check out So I'm a Spider, So What. Now, if you want textbook definition, weak to strong, Solo Leveling fits that to a T. Now, it's not a Japanese manga, it's actually Korean. So if you're used to only Japanese manga, this might be a little bit different than you're used to, but I still recommend you to give it a try. Solo Leveling is all about our main character. He lives in a world where 10 years ago, these gates started opening up and these monsters would come out of these gates. But at the same time, random humans started gaining these powers and they became known as hunters. Now, hunters are stronger than your average humans, and they also have these special abilities that they use to fight these monsters. So whenever a gate opens up, it's the hunter's job to go in there, kill the boss, so that way none of the monsters actually leak out and go into the real world. And our main character is known as the weakest hunter. He is the weakest of the weakest. Even in the easiest dungeons, he still finds a way to get himself injured. But despite putting his life on the line every single day, because of how sick his mother is and the hospital bills, he has no choice but to risk his life to get that money. And everything was going like this until one day when him and his party went into a relatively easy ranked gate. And as they were close to wrapping up, they ended up finding a passage that led them into this secret room. And inside the secret room, they got butt fucked. And I mean bad. Majority of them died and only a handful survived. Our main character, despite being one of the weakest hunters, uses his knowledge and his wits to help some people live and even sacrifices himself so a couple other people can live. But as he is 0.02 seconds away from death, a notification appears in front of him asking him if he wants to be a player. And of course, not wanting to die, he accepts. After that, he wakes up in a hospital 3 days later, not having a clue on what happened. And upon waking up, he realizes that that screen is still in front of him, telling him that he has become a player and then gives him daily quests that he has to do to become stronger. And so he does it. He goes back into these gates, completes these quests, and gets stronger and stronger until he is at like the peak. He is at the top of the top. He is like the strongest person. He's like Superman. So the story is fantastic. The main character is really, really likable. Even after he becomes insanely strong, he doesn't really change that much. Like, he still kind of behaves and has the same personality as he did before, but just way more confident. The art style is really, really good, and the world that they built is really, really fascinating. So if you want to read a solid weak to strong, Solo Leveling is definitely something that you should be reading. And the best part is it's actually finished, so you can go binge read it right now. So that has been 5 mangas where the main character goes from weak to strong. If you guys have any other recommendations, let me know down there below in the comments. And also, like I said, 500 likes, I'll do another one. That's it. Like, subscribe, bell notification. Peace.